Hello, everyone. Okay, so we've been talking about insects all week long. We talked about different types of insects. We talked about the letter that insect starts with. We classified animals, whether they were insects or not. We talked about the parts of an insect. And today I want to talk about the insect life cycle, specifically the butterfly. Okay, so usually when we're in class all together in the spring, we get our very own caterpillars in our classroom. It's so much fun to watch them start from little tiny caterpillars and then eat and eat and eat and get to be big fat caterpillars and then eventually become beautiful butterflies. And then we let them go and they fly away. It's so much fun, and I'm really missing that experience this year, and I wish I could share it with you. Now, here's a special treat. My daughter's school, the teachers brought home their caterpillars, and they filmed the whole experience. So they checked in with the caterpillars, and they sent us videos, and I am going to send those videos to you so you can watch the caterpillars grow and change and become butterflies and eventually fly away. It's really, really beautiful, and I hope that some of you will get to experience it yourselves one day. Okay, let's get started. Today we're talking about butterflies. I have this great butterfly book to read you. It's called Monarch Butterfly by Gail Gibbons. And the monarch butterfly is really the most common type of butterfly that you see, this orange and black butterfly. So let's hear the story, and then we're going to talk about its life cycle. And we'll talk about that word. A monarch butterfly settles on the leaf of a milkweed plant. She gently presses a tiny egg to one of its leaves. The egg is the beginning of another monarch butterfly. It's summertime in the north. That's where we live. New York is in the north. A breeze stirs the stem of the milkweed plant. The monarch egg is white and shiny. See it there? It's teeny tiny. It is the size of a small dot, and it sticks to the leaf. When the butterfly lays the egg, she makes it sticky, so wind and rain cannot make the egg come loose. In a few days, the egg hatches. Out crawls a small caterpillar, also called a larva. So there's the little tiny caterpillar. And the larva stage is one of the stages of the butterfly life cycle. First, the caterpillar eats its eggshell, and then it chews away at the milkweed leaf. The egg of a monarch is almost always laid on a milkweed plant, and the plant will be its food. The caterpillar eats and grows and begins to change. It breaks out of its old skin, showing a new skin underneath. That's called molting. And other animals do that too, like snakes. For 2 weeks, the caterpillar eats and eats and eats. It molts about 5 times, so it sheds its skin 5 times because it's getting so much bigger. Finally, it is a full-grown monarch caterpillar, about 2 inches long. So I would say about the size of this paint container. Not that fat, but that long. Now, something wonderful begins to happen. The caterpillar creeps to the stem of a leaf. It attaches itself to the stem and drops down head first. So it's hanging by its tail, and there's its head. The caterpillar's bright colors start to look greenish. So what letter does it look like as it's hanging there? Yeah, a letter J. That's how you know it's getting ready to go inside its chrysalis. Then the skin splits and moves up to the top. The skin falls off and a new strange form appears. It's called the chrysalis, or the pupa stage. That's the next stage of the butterfly life cycle. The chrysalis is like a blanket that's wrapped around the body growing inside. Okay? At first, the chrysalis is long and soft, and then it shrinks and becomes harder. And then it looks light green, decorated with gold dots. Inside, the monarch butterfly begins to grow. About 2 weeks later, the chrysalis changes again. It turns grayish-green and then transparent, which means it's see-through. You can see the butterfly through the chrysalis. Inside are white dots and orange and black lines. Wow. The chrysalis wiggles, and then it splits open. The butterfly begins to pull itself out. The head and legs appear first, and then the rest of it slides out. The wings are tiny and stuck together, and the butterfly's abdomen is so big. The abdomen becomes smaller when the fluid is pumped into the wings. The wings become bigger. A caterpillar has turned into a butterfly, and that is called metamorphosis. When an animal changes from one shape to another, it's called a metamorphosis. The butterfly sits quietly for a few hours, waiting for its wings to dry and harden. At last, they begin to move slowly, and then they beat faster and faster. The butterfly flutters up toward the sky. Monarchs have a bad taste, and they make birds or animals sick if they eat them, so most of them are left alone. That is so lucky. There are many parts to the butterfly. So it has a head, okay, and it has its antenna for touch and smell. Then it has a tube to its mouth called a proboscis. And the proboscis lets it suck up sweet juice called nectar from flowers. It's like a straw. Then it's got its thorax and abdomen, like every insect has, its legs, and its wings. And its wings have beautiful scales of gorgeous colors. The monarch butterfly only flies during the day. When it rains, the butterfly does not fly. It stays dry, hidden under leaves. It doesn't like to fly in the rain. Well, excuse me, butterfly. Fall is on the way, and soon it will be cold. If the monarch butterfly doesn't fly south, it won't be able to stay alive. Once again, it darts up into the sky. The butterfly will take a long trip to a warmer place, and that is called migration. And we talked about migration this year. We talked about what birds do in the wintertime. They migrate to a warmer place, and that's what butterflies do also. The monarch will fly to where its ancestors have always gone, sometimes even to the same tree. That's amazing. Other monarchs keep appearing, making clouds of orange in the sky. They like to fly together. And at night, they rest in trees. Sometimes they fly up to 12 miles an hour. That's really fast, faster than we can run. And they might travel 100 miles in one day. Sometimes there are thousands of butterflies traveling together. They fly to places like Florida or Southern California and Mexico. Some butterflies migrate 4,000 miles, and they will stay south throughout the whole winter. They don't like the cold. Some towns and cities are proud to have the butterflies visit them. They have festivals to celebrate their arrival. Children dress up for parades in butterfly costumes, and sometimes there's a band and visitors come from all around. Monarchs can cluster together, thousands of them clinging to one tree. A butterfly tree. That must be beautiful. In the spring, these butterflies will migrate back north again to the fields of milkweed plants. Right back where they came from. So interesting. So, now that we know all about the monarch butterfly, I want to show you its life cycle. So, I have that here. One second, I just want to add something. Okay. So here's our butterfly life cycle, okay? Now, the word cycle, think about a bicycle or a tricycle or a unicycle. It has a wheel that turns around and around and around and around. And the butterfly life cycle, I use a circle to show the life cycle because it just keeps going and going and going. Okay? So we'll start with the eggs. Okay? So first, the butterfly lays eggs. Okay? Here are the little white eggs. The eggs hatch. And a caterpillar comes out. And the caterpillar is the larva stage. Okay? And we know what the caterpillar does. The caterpillar eats and eats and eats. And then wraps itself up in its chrysalis. And there's the chrysalis on the tree. And that's the pupa stage. Okay? And then when it hatches out of its chrysalis, we have our butterfly again. And the butterfly lays eggs that become a caterpillar, that become a pupa, that become a butterfly. And it goes on and on and on. It's the circle of life, if you've seen The Lion King. Okay, and every animal has a life cycle, even people. Okay, we start as babies, we grow up, and then we become mommies and daddies, and we have our own babies. And those babies grow up, and they become mommies and daddies and have their own babies. Okay, so that is the life cycle. And that's our butterfly. Okay, the next video we'll have a fun craft, and we're going to make a monarch butterfly today. All right, my friends. Love you.